action on the street today, huh, Willie?
Yep. Oh, check out the German V8.
Ooh, 64 Dream Car.
At Shelter Insurance, we insure all your favorite rides and have since 1946.
Sweet pickup. Hiya, Muggsy.
Yo.
From Hot Wheels to hybrids, we've got you covered.
Hey, mailman.
Love those shoes.
Hey, where you going?
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Agent Mark Manning about Shelter's auto insurance discounts.
John Chadwell, NEDC, downtown Newport, and always my pleasure to get to come down and visit and talk about things that are going on, and each and every month we do, and each and every month it just seems like it's getting brighter and brighter around Newport, Arkansas. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
And we have some good news that we can spread to those that are in the know and those that are not in the know, but those of you that need to be in the know.
That's exactly right.
Let's talk about NEDC and the good things happening.
Well, there's lots of good stuff going on. Sorry for my voice, but
one of them is not your voice.
One of those things is not my voice. We have a lot of things that are going on, a lot of good things. The big thing for development is having the right infrastructure in place. And, you know, we all know that we have the highway, we have the railroad, we have the river, we've got property.
Sure.
We've got a lot of stuff in place. But thanks to, in a large part, Senator Bozeman and Congressman Crawford's efforts, we are getting a designation that US 67, the 4-lane, will become future Interstate 57. Now, why that's a big deal is companies want to be on an interstate. And we all call it the interstate.
Right.
But it's not really an interstate.
Right.
So when we pitch to a company and we fill out their form, it says, how many miles are you from an interstate?
Right.
And we have to say, we're 50 or we're 40. You know, and it helped getting I-55 into Jonesboro.
Sure.
You know, made us closer. But there's nothing like saying, well, our industrial site, and if you take our mega site we're working on, our mega site will now have 4.9 miles of frontage on an interstate. And so that's a whole lot better opportunity. So we appreciate the push they did to do that and to have the I-57, future I-57 corridor. And Jonesboro saw a lot of improvement even when it was the future I-555, even before it became I-555. And so we're excited about that. That opportunity is just another piece of the puzzle. We're getting geotechnical work done on 2 additional sites. That's where they drill down in the soil, find out what they have to do to build a building on it, and give all the recommendations for that. That'll be done in the next probably 3 months, and that's our next step towards certifying our mega site and another 300-acre site we have. If we get both of those certified, we'll be the only town in Arkansas to have 3 certified industrial sites.
Right.
Right now we're one of 13 that has 1. There's 2 that have 2, so we'd be the 3rd one that has 2, and we'd be the only one that has 3. And that's a big deal because a company can look at that site and say, there's no surprises.
Right, absolutely.
There's no surprises.
The work has been done.
The work's been done. We can buy that property, and we know nothing's going to come up that's going to keep us from building there.
Right.
And, you know, with environmental issues, endangered species, historical stuff, if you can already have all of that out of the way, boy, it makes it easy. A company, if they come in and they get a piece of property and they're going to start building, if they find something on there, well, first, the best case scenario is it sets them back 6 months, 9 months, a year. Worst case, they can't build there and they got to start looking over again.
Sure.
And so they don't like that risk. And that's part of what I see as the job of the NEDC is to try to fix things so that companies that look here say, man, that's the lowest risk place we can go.
Right.
You know, we go over here, there's a risk this won't happen. We go over here, we go to Newport, there's no risk. So we just try to take the risk out of it, and that makes us a more attractive place. And it's a process. It's also a process of continually making our stuff better.
Right.
So that people know. We're working a lot on things like that.
Well, and you talk about that process, and it is a process, and even in our name, Newport Economic Development, you have to have a process. You don't just develop something overnight. We're in the process of developing for years to come.
That's right. In fact, we're working now on just finding out what it would take to get the railroad rebuilt, having
Right.
a study done to rebuild the railroad out to the air base.
Okay.
Because that touches all 3 sites.
Right.
And every prospect we've had for the last 5 prospects has been interested in having a railroad out
Right,
there. Now,
okay.
we're not going to build it
Right. Sure.
unless somebody's coming.
Sure. Absolutely.
But if we can get it to where we can say, guys, here's what it would take to build it, and they know that there's no risk,
right.
all they got to do is start building it, then that helps too.
You've done your work. Let them know. Yes, this is very conceivable. It can be done. Yes, we know. Here.
It can be done. Here's how much it costs, and here's how you do it.
Right. Absolutely.
And then there again, it takes the risk away from them. And so we're really excited. That mega site has a high-powered gas transmission line on one side, high-power electric on the other side. Now we'll have a quote and a diagram for rail out into the middle of it. They'll have future I-57 on the other side, Arkansas Highway 18 on this side.
Right.
There's nothing they can't do on that side.
Right.
And unlike so many other places, Newport happens to be a little flat.
That's correct. That is correct.
And there's not many trees. So it's very, very buildable without a lot of infrastructure work or a lot of site work. on
Right,
the
absolutely,
property.
absolutely. Well, I mean, again, these are things that we just didn't start working on last week. I mean, we've been working on stuff for a long, long time, and we talk a lot on this program about it takes months and sometimes years for projects to fall in place, along with that process that we have to go through, and one of them being the distinction of the quote, the freeway that we, like everybody thought we had a freeway, but and we mentioned this on the show before. We didn't. I mean, it kind of drives like one and looks like one, but it just wasn't distinguished as one.
And I will tell you, I've been here. I'm in my 13th year now.
Right. Yeah.
The second month I was here, I went to Walnut Ridge for a meeting on how we could get an interstate designation.
Really?
13 years ago.
Is that right?
And so you're right. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something one person or one group does. But we can be thankful to our senator and our congressman for getting it through in the latest bill, so that we can have that designation. We're pretty excited about that.
I think we're all excited. We're all excited about the direction of Newport, Arkansas, and NEDC, and again, so many big things happening here, and it's a pleasure to be a part of it.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. My friend John Chadwell, good to see you, my
Good to
friend.
see you.
That's good stuff, I guarantee you. NEDC, Newport Economic Development Commission. If you ever need to talk to these folks, you can walk right in the door and say, "May I speak with John?" and you'll be here.
Most of the time.
My good friend Jay Cox, we're at St. Michael's Place. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, how you doing, David?
I'm good. You doing all right?
I'm doing good.
Tell me about the weather.
The weather, we got a lot of water.
We've got a lot of water
in Jackson County, and a lot in the counties around us, really
Yes.
in bad shape.
Absolutely.
We've actually been a little bit lucky in a lot of our areas compared to some, but
Yeah, we have.
lots of it still falling.
Yes, sir. The day we filmed, it was 50-something degrees and still raining. And it's, I don't know, 3rd or 4th of the month. But anyway, we're going to talk about St. Michael's Place and talk a little bit about the Easter egg drop hunt. What a huge crowd that
We
St.
did.
Michael's drew that day. Talk a little bit about that.
We did, David. We had an Easter egg hunt, but we also had quite a few other activities along with it. Now, we had planned for a helicopter. We had worked it out with Unity Health, was going to come by and drop a big group of eggs. Now, we already had quite a few out on the grounds, but
Right.
we had probably 300 plus people from the community
Wow.
come out and go through the facility. We had pictures made with the Easter bunny, and we had hot dogs and hamburgers and music playing, and it kind of turned into a little street dance out there on the parking lot. And,
Yeah, great.
inflatable bounce houses
Yes,
and
sir.
petting zoo and all kinds of good stuff. And but what happened was the helicopter had an emergency flight, which of course those things take priority, and
Okay.
so they weren't able to come. But we still had enough activities going on. Everybody had a good time, and the weather was perfect.
Good
In fact,
deal.
I think I got a little sunburn that day.
Good deal. That was a great day then.
Yeah.
Great. And
Sure was.
St. Michael's giving back, and what a great idea to get the community involved. And Jay, we want to talk just a little bit about, when it comes time to make a decision about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things you got to consider, and I know you wanted to talk just a little bit about that.
I do, David, and one of the things about long-term care, and you'll hear this from just about anybody you talk to, and folks will say, well, I don't want to end up in a nursing home. I don't want to end up in a facility. I want to be able to take care of myself and live independently. But the thing is that we don't get any younger. We're all getting older, and I can remember when I was a kid going to Newport High School, and I can remember being involved in sports and being active, and now I'm 40, and you told me this morning I had a little gray hair showing, and which is okay. But the truth is, we all will come to a place when we may need someone to help take care of us. And here at St. Michael's Place, we don't just have people here that are just here to clock in and clock out and do their job and go home. But when you work in a facility like this, you actually take on family. You begin to care about your residents, and we're here. We see the folks in this facility sometimes more than we see our own families and extended families, and we run into folks, David, that when it comes time to make that decision to bring your loved one into a facility like this, and I know we've talked in the past few weeks about the rehab and how wonderful it is, and we do short-term rehab and get you back on your feet, get you back home, but the other part of what we do is long-term care. And I was just thinking about this morning, as I knew we was going to be visiting today, and maybe there's somebody watching this video that maybe grandmother has had a lot more confusion in the last few weeks or the past few months. Maybe you've noticed how they kind of wander off sometimes, and you're worried about them. Maybe the strength, Grandpa don't have the strength that he used to, or maybe your mom or dad, and we just want you to know that when you start seeing those things, when confusion levels are not like they used to be, when it seems like they're just in a different place mentally, when it feels like, mom or dad's going through something, I don't know what it is, but that's where we come in. We have trained professionals. We actually have a lighthouse unit, David, in our facility that is actually a secure unit for folks that may get lost or for memory loss issues, forget where they are, things like that. We're the only facility in Jackson County that can offer a complete secure unit. So when your loved one comes in, we have trained professionals to deal with dementia, Alzheimer's, some of those things that we don't like to talk about, and we hope that we never have to face, but the truth is many people have to face those.
They do, yes they do. Jay, not only have to face it, but it's tough decisions on all of us when we become the caregivers on what to do, what is best for my loved one, and then what is best for the family of that loved one. There are some very, very tough decisions when you start talking about nursing home facilities, and you got to find a place that's loving and caring, and there's no doubt we have that here, and it's just tough decisions on all of us when we have to make that decision.
It is, and it's no secret if you're watching here in Jackson County that St. Michael's Place has had to overcome some obstacles in the past. We have a new administration and a new team of leadership here that has 20 years plus experience. They care.
Sure.
Having folks that care not only about the resident, but there's a lot more than just deciding to come into a long-term care facility, but there's insurance, there's Medicare, there's Medicaid, there's financials, there's most of the time people will leave behind a house and furniture and all there's lots of affairs that have to be put in order, and my job is a social worker, and so I help deal a lot in those areas that really isn't related to nursing or skilled nursing at all. And so we don't just help maintain their medicines and feed. We actually help the families adjust as well, and help and take care of those things, and the financial part of we have not only that, just employment opportunities as well here at St. Michael's of all kinds of types of jobs here, and then as far as the resident, there's a lot that goes into it, and it's a good place to be. The people here care, and St. Michael's is up and coming. We're on the way.
If anybody would know that, nobody would know it any better than Jay Cox. Jay Cox, my friend, good to see you, sir.
Good to
We're
be
at St.
here.
Michael's Place and
Glad
get
to
to
have you
visit
today.
with Jay, a lot. We, visit with others as we go throughout the course of the year. St. Michael's Place in Newport.
Come see us.
We're at the Newport Diagnostic Medical Clinic in Newport, and we're visiting with Dr. Melissa Yawn, who is the newest on board here. And Melissa, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now listen, we've got to talk a lot about your expertise and so on, but first of all, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about growing up. Tell us about going to college and becoming a doctor. Tell us about you.
Well, I'm from Marion, Arkansas. That's where I grew up. I went to college in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I went to medical school at University of Arkansas for medical sciences in Little Rock. Did my training at UT in Memphis, and then I went to Jonesboro, Arkansas, and practiced for 12 years, and now I'm here.
Wow, fantastic. Well, congratulations on being here, and I know the folks in Newport, Arkansas, and at the clinic here are glad to have you. Let me ask you this, and I always like to ask doctors this, and why a doctor, or why and when did you decide that you want to become a doctor? Was that something early on?
I always wanted to be a doctor ever since I was a little kid. I doctored up my baby dolls and my teddy bears and all of that. I always knew I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to fix people, fix things, and so that's what I always wanted to do. So there was no doubt in my mind what I wanted to do.
And you're in family practice
Yes.
medicine, and we hear that term a lot. Tell us exactly what that is. What is family practice medicine?
Family medicine is a really wide scope of medicine. They do preventative medicine, we do chronic medicine, we see babies all the way to age 99. We take care of your wellness visits, we do physical exams, we do sports physicals for kids at school, we see your chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, we see high cholesterol. We can take care of pregnant people. We can take care of gynecological exams. We can do anything in that scope, and if we can't take care of it, we can call a specialist and get you hooked up with what specialist that you need. So we see it pretty much everything.
Certainly a wide scope of
Yes.
people to see. Yeah,
Yes.
no doubt about that. And we were talking before we got on the air about when you start talking about being named KAIT Region 8 Doctor of the Year. Tell me a little bit about that and that award, because that's pretty big. Tell me a little bit about that.
I got that award in 2013.
Okay.
I didn't know I got that award. My mom called me and told me on the phone, guess what you got? It was a pretty big deal. It's everybody in Region 8's surrounding area. They vote and pick who they want for the best family practice, and I got it that year.
Wow, fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big honor, and certainly, and I admire what doctors do. First of all, I admire how long it takes for you to get through college and to get through your training. How many years do you have to spend to do that?
4 years of college and 4 years of medical school, and then 3 years of residency.
Wow, it's a long time.
It's a long time.
That's more than I can add up. Let me ask you this. Being a doctor, and obviously you said you wanted to be a doctor all your life. What are the things that are important to you as far as being a doctor? I mean, now that you've been a doctor for a while and you've been doing it, for several years, what's important to you? What makes you feel good about being a doctor?
What makes me feel good about being a doctor? I like being involved in my family's life.
Yeah.
I like being able to see that patient grow up and see that family and see all of the family involved. I like being a part of that family. That's important to me. I
Absolutely.
like that part.
Absolutely.
That's really important to me.
Tell me why Newport, Arkansas, and tell me why this clinic. Why are you here? What made you want to come here? Because let me tell you what, we've got it going on here in Newport, Arkansas. This is one of the big pluses that we have right here. And again, we welcome you here. But why Newport?
Well, I wanted to get back to a small town.
Right.
I'd been in Jonesboro for quite a while, and I'm from a small town, so I wanted to get back to a small town. And I had a friend that works here, Dr. Lawson,
Yeah.
and so that kind of pushed me in this direction. And she kind of helped me get to this area, and I really like it here so far. So I'm really excited about being in Newport.
Fantastic, fantastic. Those people that might want your services or need your services, how do we contact you? Phone number, so on and so forth, or just come by the clinic? How do we get in touch with you?
They can definitely just come by the clinic if they would like to, or they can call Monday through Thursday. It's 512-2500.
Well, we're looking forward to big things for you being here. We know that the clinic is certainly excited about you being here, and I hope it's a great, fantastic run, and I hope you enjoy every day that you're in Newport, Arkansas.
Thank you. I appreciate
Dr.
that.
Melissa Yawn, and this lady has got it going on. Jackson's Funeral Home, and we've been talking to some folks that work here, employed here, our family here, that make this thing work here. And Jan said that we could visit with John Driver. Good to meet you, my friend.
Nice
I
to
know
meet you.
John Driver. It's been a long time. Tell us a little bit about you. You were here at one time when you were a young man and eventually got back to here. Kind of tell us just a little
That's
quickly
right.
how
That's
that
right.
happened.
Well, again, like we discussed earlier, military family.
Yeah.
Tight unit, moved all over the world. And we would stay here when Dad was deployed, Vietnam, Korean, and things like that. Dad did his final tour of duty, San Antonio, Texas. And we started coming back here. Dad, I think it was the spring right before my summer of my 12th year, Dad came into my room and said, you're going to learn a work ethic. And for 3 summers in a row, he dropped me off at the farm and went back to Texas.
Yes, sir.
I remember the first morning throwing hay bales from 7 in the morning to 11 at night
Oh, no.
from Mr. Philip Marchand. And,
Yes, sir.
But I learned it.
I
And
guarantee you.
I learned that I was a country boy, and I loved that fishing, and I loved the hills and little mischief.
Yes,
you
sir.
know.
Yes, sir.
But so I have family heritage here. I'm a Texas boy,
Right.
No doubt.
Right.
I'll be back there someday.
Yes, sir.
Get back whenever I can, but Arkansas's in my blood.
Absolutely it is. John, let me ask you this. You're Chris Driver's uncle,
So I am.
and tell me a little bit about how you got here to Jackson's Funeral Home. How many years you been here?
Six
Six
years and some
6
months.
years?
Yeah,
and,
about 6 years.
Doing marvelous. First of all, tell
Yeah.
me job responsibility here. What do you do here?
Well, I am a mortician and a funeral director.
Okay.
I started out plugging holes in the wall and painting for Jan. Begged him for a job.
Right,
because
there you
go. Daddy let me sit at home for a while, and that's why I moved back.
Sure.
And again, as we talked about earlier, Dad had moved back to Texas. The city of San Antonio had grown and overwhelmed him, and so he wanted to move right back. And again, it's the military flighty feet. But the Lord started speaking to me.
Sure.
He said, that's where I want you. And it worked out great, and so I moved back here with Dad, brought me closer to my daughter in Kentucky, and back to a place that I have some fond memories of.
Absolutely.
Not the mosquitoes. Not walking the rice levees.
I don't know if anybody ever says they like the mosquito. I'm glad I'm back to see the mosquitoes again.
Yeah, no doubt. I can remember, when I was younger and he'd drop me off up here, they'd plug up them window units. They
Yes,
were so
sir.
thick,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
I control them a little better now, but those are the things you file away, and they were painful when they happen.
Yes, sir.
But they make you giggle and smile and think about it.
Yes, sir.
And so I try to remember those all my life. And again, I'm an Arkansas and a Texas boy.
There you
and,
go.
There's a lot of connection between those two states.
Good
And I
combination.
do not like the University of Texas Longhorns.
Let's get that clear right now.
clear.
Let's get that clear.
Burnt orange is not my color.
That's right. That's right.
Raised back through and through. But so we came back up. brought Dad back up, and like I said, prayed about it a lot, and the Lord confirmed where He wanted me. And brought Dad back up January the 7th, 2011. Went to work for Jan Maris, like I said, doing a little repair on the funeral homes.
Yes, sir.
And well, I got to tell you, I never thought that this was a career because I still had my business in San Antonio.
Sure.
But that was, that was real work. And then not that this isn't, but for a guy that's a little overweight with bad knees, I had the chance to go back and finish college. And Chris stuck his nose out for me and put himself on a limb and got me a job in it. And it just evolved from there.
Sure.
I've always wanted to finish that degree, and I did that, and I'm continuing that, and it's just absolutely wonderful what's opened up for me here.
Absolutely.
And I don't have to haul quickcrete or 4x4s or climb them 2-man ladders.
That's right.
Or stress about the rain.
That's right.
I could be if I was farming, but and of course we all have a lot of friends that are farmers, and we're stressing for them right now. But that is life, and the Lord. He'll get that water down for us.
So let me assure you folks, if you see John Driver on the street, he has a phenomenal story. He really does. And it's a good story of growing up and then how he got back here. And we don't have time to get into all of it here today. But tell me about the funeral home business. I mean, what do you... I know why you come and you say, well, I need a job, and like you say, you start doing some things, and then by circumstance you get, and it's something you love.
I do now. Yeah. I absolutely do. I have good friends in San Antonio, like we talked about before, and they thought, man, you were the last person I thought would do that. I had a little fear of the dark for a big guy, but it's a generality there. But I started to realize that the service that is provided here, and I'm talking specifically for the Maris family and Jackson Funeral Homes.
Right.
Not that other firms don't do a job,
absolutely.
But I appreciated that sense of perfection and dedication.
Right.
And it just evolved. Like I said, I wanted to finish what I had started on Mom and Dad's money. It's easier to get in trouble in college when someone else paid for it.
Yes, right.
But and Dad and Mom reminded me of that a couple times. But that opportunity presented itself. Jan Maris, she encouraged me.
Absolutely.
Chris did not at first.
Right.
That's because when you got to watch your labor, that's what you.
That is right.
He's a great kid, and so it just evolved that way. I nervous as heck. Went back to school here at ASUN. Took a computer class because the ones I'd taken in '81,
they weren't quite up to snuff, were they?
Yeah, that wasn't going to cut it. So, and it worked out well.
Gone back to school, got degrees.
Sure did, and got my mind right about what we do here and how we do it, and I just appreciate that. I appreciate how Jan, how demanding she is.
Right.
Jan, and what a great heart she has.
Absolutely. Well, you get it done right at Jackson Funeral Home, don't you?
Absolutely.
You get it done right.
Absolutely.
John Driver, it's my pleasure. You got a great story. We've got to sit down again and do a longer show, I promise you.
Yeah, maybe it'd be on the bank of a river or in a boat.
That's right.
But none of that duck hunting, because I started that when I moved back up.
Did you?
4 years of freezing my toes and one duck.
One duck?
Yeah. And my buddies from Texas, they're like, man, we'll come back up if you'll get us some ducks. I said, well, we'll buy them next time.
There you go.
Good
John
to meet
Driver,
you, man.
my pleasure.
All right.
We're at Jackson's Funeral Home at the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue. And let me tell you what an addition to this company. And let me assure you, again, if you see this guy on the street, just ask him a little bit about his story and how he got here. John, thanks very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Look at this cat daddy. And I mean cat daddy.
Cat daddy.
Look at this guy, man.
Oh my gosh.
Dr. McDowell, are you a real doctor?
I am. Well, no, I'm not a real doctor.
You're a cat cool doctor, baby. What's happening, dude?
Not much.
Hey, I love the glasses.
They're cool, aren't they?
But I want to know what the thing is behind it that's holding it.
Oh.
What is that?
That's a place where cats and small gerbils can hang on.
That's why you call it Cat Daddy. No.
That of course protects your neck, but that floats. That makes these glasses float on the lake, and these actually, the lenses are polarized for lake. This is like the lake pear.
It is.
Yeah.
If it falls in the lake, and they're gonna fall in the lake.
Yes. Yes. If
And
you're
they
on if you're on a boat that I'm on, yes.
And they just float right along. You just jump right in and get them, don't
Yeah,
you?
you get them or somebody
I
finds
love
them for
it.
you.
This is Dr. Gavin McDowell with Custom Eyes Vision Care in Newport. And I really want Dr. McDowell to tell, and by the time you see this, it's probably already happened, but in all fairness, you're going to do something this Friday that's exciting to you. It's exciting for the charitable part. But
I never said it was going to be exciting.
Yes, you did too. You said you could not wait. What you said is you could not wait. And I said, I'll wear these pink glasses because I love pink if you'll tell me what you're going to do Friday.
I'm participating in the Komen Race for the Cure in Arkansas.
Great, that's fantastic.
Up in Jonesboro, they got a...
Tell it all, brother. Don't leave nothing out.
There's a walk a mile in her shoes.
Yes, yeah. How's that work?
Friday night. Well, I'm going to be running a 100-yard dash in high heels and a pink tutu.
It's a great way to raise money.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's what you're supposed to do?
I'm not going to try to break any land speed records or anything.
No.
And I may be on crutches.
Here's the good
Monday.
deal. I've got friends over Jonesboro, and they told me that
You have friends?
I do. They told me that you were the first to volunteer. You said, I want to do that.
Well, I had the wardrobe already. Might as well.
Might as well use it publicly.
Right, yeah.
And that's okay.
It's 2017. Why can't we
That's
talk
right.
about that?
Great cause, though. Great cause. And obviously the idea is to raise money.
Raise money for breast cancer research and awareness, yes, sir. I'm a big breast cancer supporter. My mother had breast cancer and had a lumpectomy. Thankfully, that's all she needed to have done. But my wife's aunt passed away with breast cancer. I have a very close friend who got diagnosed. That's the reason I shaved my head. She lost all her head through chemo and shaved my head. Now it's been like this for a while though, because it's really easy to take care of.
It is easy, isn't it? It is easy.
But yeah, I'm a big supporter for breast cancer awareness and research.
Well, I mean, good luck with that because I know it's going to be. It will be fun.
It will be fun.
Yeah. A lot of people will.
I will not be. Now,
watch.
let's be clear. I am not the only person in high heels and a tutu.
That's even better. Probably even better.
No, actually, which one is weirder? A bunch of guys in high heels and tutus, or just me in high heels and tutus?
Well, that is a good question. I have no answer for that. Okay. I'm stumped. I think a lot of people. I don't know. Just imagine if you were the one guy that did it. That'd be pretty neat. The one and only Gavin McDowell.
The one and only.
That's what they say about you around here. The one and only Gavin McDowell. He is the man.
I don't think they say that. You added that, right?
He is the man. Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy.
I like that. Hey,
that's like the bee's knees. That's how old that phrase is.
Cat Daddy. Sometimes we talk about what we do here, and sometimes we don't.
Sometimes.
And we're going to talk about sunglasses today, and you gave me a pair, and I didn't mind the pink at all, honestly, but I for some reason, I, like you, have a little spot right here.
I can't see anything.
What is the spot? What is the spot?
It's a sticker.
Oh, I see that now. I see that. Oh,
Who's your eye doctor?
Dr. McDowell is my eye doctor.
No, but we have a new line.
Tell us about the new line.
The Bolé line. Bolé. It's a great. It's a company that's a subsidiary of Bushnell, which is. I don't know if you are familiar. You're not a man's man, is wearing the pink glasses. But anyway, yeah, binoculars, hunting scope, stuff like that. So the optics on the lenses are fantastic. They're really precise. And the great thing about all the Bolés is that every pair of sunglasses they have can be what are called RXable. We can put your prescription in here.
Cool.
In these and those and those, any pair of sunglasses they have, you can get your prescription put in.
Wow, but do I have to wait to get this oil out of my eye before I can?
Well, you don't have to wait.
No, that's correct. You can get one now and you get one then.
You can get 30 pair now. And
it doesn't matter, does it?
We'll change it up later. Nah. But yeah, we got some that float. They're designed for on the lake, on the water, stuff like that. We got some specifically for golf. We got some specifically for being a cat daddy.
Yeah, cat daddy.
We got a bunch of different types. But yeah, there's something in there for everybody.
Well, we have Bolé, and we have other lines also.
We got kids frames in these too.
Oh, really?
And I will say this, I was very surprised. The price point on these are very attractive compared to name brand, well-made clear optic lenses. The price point on these are fantastic.
Good deal. So you can get a good deal on these.
Yeah, you could afford 30 of those.
If you're choking me up, Doc. Don't choke me up with the price point here.
I know.
I can afford
it's
them.
the
Goodness.
total package.
I do want to say this. I want to brag about you and your staff here. Linda recently came in and got some glasses, and she honestly talked about. She said it was thorough, it was professional, and it was more than she expected.
Well, that's what
that's what you're here for. Yeah, absolutely.
If you give what people expect, then they get what they expected. But if you give more than that, then that's something.
That is correct.
That is something.
That is correct. And she was very, very excited. Loves her new glasses.
Well,
just loves them.
Good.
And and really the most important part about the new glasses, she said, I can see out of them.
Well, that is a good fringe benefit.
She's one of those, like we talk about, that maybe goes a little longer than what she's supposed to, and she hadn't been seen real well lately. Maybe the last 2 years or so, and you need to get in here. How often are you supposed to come in to have your eyes checked?
Realistically, you should have your
vision and health. Vision and
eye vision.
Okay.
And eye health.
Okay.
Checked once a year, bare minimum. That is, even if you can see, a gnat from 300 yards away, you need to have your eyes checked yearly at bare minimum. Now that goes up, if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, some pre-existing conditions, or even family history of some sight-threatening conditions, then you may need to come in more often than that. But bare minimum, a year, every year get your eyes checked, because people go get their teeth cleaned every 6 months.
Yeah.
And I use that example all the time.
Yeah.
And there is no fault of that. I'm not knocking the dental profession.
Right.
It's important. Go get your teeth cleaned every 6 months. But if every tooth in your head falls out, we can get you dentures.
Right.
You have to give up corn on the cob, but you be able to eat most anything else you want.
Right.
If your eyes go bad, those false eyes don't work like the false teeth.
Why do we not come in and do it? What do you think? Why do we not come?
You want to know what my opinion? This is my opinion.
Yeah. Why do we not do that?
Teeth is a cosmetic thing. This is our perception of how our appearance is to others and how we look to them.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
We don't think about. And there's a whole ad campaign. Think about your eyes.
Right.
We don't think about that being that's not our perception of ourselves. That is what we use to perceive others.
I got you.
So, and that's why we make a strong emphasis to have a lot of selection of frames and stuff here. So if you do have to wear glasses, we're going to get you something that you look good in. I do not.
In a sense, there is
I don't want you walking out of here and looking like a clown, and somebody asks, "Hey, where'd you get your glasses?"
That's right.
Dr. McDowell's office over there.
Boy, you got some nice ones.
Yeah, those are some nice,
sir.
Coke bottle glasses.
Where'd they find those? Yeah. Well, and when with my eyes, and we'll talk about this some, and you had told me that when I had the surgery, and you sent me to get the surgery done, and then they said you could get some glasses. I came back, and you said, David, in all fairness, with that oil in your eye, cosmetically, those words you used, cosmetically, you wouldn't look good in a pair of glasses because of the thickness of the one. And so let's try some contacts. And wow. I mean, I appreciate that. But so there is some cosmetic effect when you talk about eyes, but I agree with you totally. Your teeth, people, you're going to smile, and people want to be able to smile, you clean teeth. And
people, and we judge, I hate to say it, we judge other people upon their smile.
Sure.
If you got summer teeth.
Right.
Then you're automatically thinking things. But if they got a nice, pretty smile, well, that person's got everything put together. If you look at somebody who has glasses or doesn't have glasses, it really is not that big of a difference of what your perception of that person is. So, yeah.
With not having glasses and having not had them for a while, I miss having the glasses. Now is that strange?
Yeah, no, gosh, no. I've patients who have worn glasses their entire lives come in. I send them out for cataract surgery. They come back, and our goal after cataract surgery is for you not to have glasses whatsoever, except for maybe reading.
Right.
So they come in, they get, go through the whole post-op stuff, everything heals up. I measure them. Hey, you don't need anything but reading glasses. And then 3 weeks later, like, doc, I feel naked.
I know you.
I'm reaching for something that's never there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do that. We do that. I've had them for years, and it's different not having them there. Y'all provide that service. You could put them there if you needed to.
There, yes.
Put them
I like putting people there.
There or here or
They're
everywhere.
here.
Everywhere. Hey, let me ask you this. Talk a little bit more about that whole process. When you come in the door, what do you get? When you go through and you hit the first door and the second door and the third door, and then you come out and you get your glasses. Tell me about the process.
Okay. Well, I mean, to jump ahead of that or whatever, I have many patients coming here, first time they come to see us, after they're done, like they will say, that was the most thorough eye exam I've ever had. We are not going to rush you through like cattle, first and foremost. We are going to take our time, not only knowing what your visual history is and what your visual complaint is, but also your health history. There's a lot of family history things that come into play as far as being concerned about future problems with your vision. I want to be proactive, not reactive.
Right.
So we're going to measure what your current glasses are, if you have any. We have machines that kind of determine where your glasses prescription might need to be.
Okay.
It's kind of a ballpark. I never use that to prescribe glasses. There are some people who do, and they're not trustworthy. But anyway. But on top of that, we're going to measure a few things as far as corneal curvature. We're going to measure basically how well your eyes work together. Are there any problems with one eye focusing differently than the other one does?
Right.
Are they aligned properly? Are we using the proper parts of the eye? And that's before I ever get you to the room.
Right.
When you get to the room, basically I'm going to get a very precise measurement of what your prescription should be, get you seen as well as you possibly can in the most comfortable prescription that you can.
Okay.
And I say that because there's sometimes you can over-prescribe somebody, and the patients initially in the room will like it and love it. It'll create a lot of strain. So sometimes we back things off depending upon what that prescription is. But anyway, we'll measure that precisely and accurately as possible. We're going to take a very good look at not only the front part, but middle part and back parts of the eye, make sure everything's put together like it's supposed to be.
Sure.
As I'll tell people when I put them in the what's called the slit lamp, it's a little microscope that I use to look inside their eyes. I want to see if they have anything up in that head of theirs, Make sure it's screwed on straight. But
anything behind the eye, way behind the eye.
Because even though you may see fantastically well, you may not. You may have something going on way out in the periphery of the retina that's going to tear your world apart someday. So. Yeah,
I do know this, having gone through these 2 retina surgeries and the attachment surgeries and off cataract surgeries from a year ago, it is amazing what you learn and what you study. The eye is, I've always thought the brain is a very intriguing, part of the body, but the human eye is so complex.
Well, the great thing about the eye, I say the great thing, to me, I'm an eye guy, so I'm kind of geekish on that, but the eye's we're dealing with the nervous system, because it's basically an extension of the nervous system. It's got a direct connection to the brain. It's got all kinds of nerve fibers and all that stuff that pick up, it's receptors that pick up signal and send it to the brain. It's got muscular system to it. It's got connective tissue to it. We have avascular tissue there. The cornea is living and breathing, but it doesn't have any blood vessels to it.
Right, yeah. I know.
It's things that'll blow your mind. But it's all these things put together. It's not only these individual pieces, but as I say, it goes, the parts are greater than the sum of the whole. And
Absolutely.
You have to figure out how one thing meshes to the other and connects with one another, and how you use them, and not only how your brain uses those systems, those organ systems all together, but also, is it one of those things where is it going to be different for you because you have different hobbies, and you may be a fisherman and Joe Blow may be a baseball player.
Right,
and, They may have the same setup and how things are going, but this person needs something slightly different than that one.
That's correct.
You have to throw a lot of data together to come up with the right combination.
Well, you do that. Your company does that. This business does that. Customized Vision Care in the Village Mall in Newport, and of course you've got locations, a couple other locations.
I got one swimming in Pocahontas.
But not in the office. But
the office is great.
Bless their hearts in Pocahontas. And I just heard thunder just a minute ago, and fix to get some more rain, and something we don't need. But our thoughts and prayers with all those who are in need because of the rain and the floods. But good to see you, my friend.
Too, my friend.
Dr. Gavin McDowell, always a pleasure to come in and learn something. I learn. I love to listen to you talk about your profession, because I've never had a doctor of any kind that I feel is comfortable with about the knowledge of your expertise. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because it is superb. If you're looking for a guy like him, or if you can't see a guy like him, you probably need to come in and find a guy like him with glasses.
If we are blurry right now,
you need him.
Well, I'll take it back. If we're blurry right now, have somebody drive you in.
That is correct. Come on in with somebody. Dr. Gavin McDowell, Customized Vision Care. We're in the Village Mall in Newport. Lindley Health and Rehab Newport, Sherry Hanley, Jordan Price. Y'all know who Sherry Hanley is. And Sherry, tell us just a little bit about Jordan before we get to talking to her about what her expertise is here.
Well, Jordan is a member of our Lindley family, Team Lindley, yay. She is actually in our therapy unit, does an amazing job. She's kind of like the class clown. She's a lot of fun to be around. The residents love her, and they have so much fun with her. And I'll let Jordan kind of tell us, everybody, what she does here and how much fun we have here at Lindley.
Well, and before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about where you're from, where you grew up, graduated, tell us a bit about education, so on and so forth. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I grew up in Wynn. I'm from Wynn originally. Grew up there, born there, everything. Went to high school there. Went to school in Jonesboro. Didn't really know what I was going to do, so it took me a little bit to get going. But then I ended up going to A-State's Physical Therapist Assistant Program and graduated there last May.
Why physical therapy?
Why not?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I absolutely love it. I enjoy getting to help these people get back to their optimal level, get back to where they need to be, and it's one of the most rewarding things that you can do.
Let me ask you this. Did you know that, or when did you know you wanted to, number one, be in physical therapy, and number two, want to work in a nursing home?
Well, I knew that I wanted to do physical therapy whenever I worked as a personal trainer at 10 Fitness.
Yeah.
And I started having some geriatric clients. I never really knew that I wanted to do it exactly, but then I got into the program, and we get to do different clinical settings. So I went to an outpatient clinic, I went to a peds clinic, and then I ended up being in a nursing home. And I was scared to death of being in a nursing home.
Really?
It terrified me. And then I got there and I cried when I left. It was a 5-week rotation, and I did not want to leave.
Is that right?
Yep. And I was like, all right, no kids, nothing else. I want to go to geriatrics.
Wow. And how long have you been here, and how did you get here? How did you get at Lindley?
Well, I've been here since last July.
Okay.
Last July, middle of July.
Okay.
And it was I had just taken my boards, gotten the news that I passed my boards, and that was a party in itself, amazing. But then I got an email that was saying, hey, we're looking for, we have a spot here. Do you think, you want to be a part of the team? Came in, interviewed, loved it, been here ever since.
Tell me a little bit about what you actually do on a day-to-day basis. What's it like on a day-to-day basis here at Lindley in the physical therapy department?
Well, most of us get here, I get here around 6 in the morning. Usually I try to time what time I get here and what time I leave with the 6 to 2 shift.
Okay.
Because they're getting up in the mornings. If they ever need help getting up, we go in there and we help them get up. If people are awake from about 6 to 7, we have an hour to where we can, work with the early birds. There's always some people that want to come in and drink their coffee and do their therapy and get done. Then during the morning we work with absolutely anybody that has therapy, and do any kind of balance exercises, any kind of just general strengthening, working on getting in and out of the bathroom, in and out of the shower, whatever we need to do. So.
Generally speaking, when you're talking about your patients and being in a nursing home, and I know you do short-term and long-term, and are the folks generally receptive to the therapy? Do they enjoy the therapy?
Yes. We, every once in a while we get somebody that's just kind of like, man, I'm tired, I don't want to do it.
Sure.
And that takes a little bit of finagling your way to figure out how to work with each person. But yeah, mostly everybody loves it. Once they're here for about a week, it takes them about a week, and they're like, what are these people doing? And then it's like, okay, all right, we're good, let's go.
And then it makes them feel better. Yes. Once they get into the routine, they feel so much better.
Oh yeah, the routine is key. Getting, if you work with somebody every day at 6, you work with them at 6. If you work with somebody every day before lunch, usually you need to work with them before lunch. If not, their whole day's gone.
It sounds to me like you just have a blast doing your job.
I absolutely love it. People tell me that, whenever I talk about my job or whenever I tell them what I do, they're like, well, you sound like you're having so much fun. What do you actually do? And I kind of go into the spiel I just told you. But if you don't love what you do and you don't look forward to getting up every day and going to your job, you're working. I'm not working. I
like that. I like that.
I love it.
Tell me a little bit about the Lindley family. Tell me how you feel about the Lindley family.
Ever since I started working here in July, it was my first job out of college, and I was absolutely nervous. I was so nervous because I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it, but it's kind of still getting in the groove of things. But I can't imagine working anywhere else. Everybody here is it's like a family. I know everybody's name now. It took me a while, but I know everybody's name, from CNAs to nurses all the way up to administration. I know everybody here will say hi. Everybody here will work together and get just anything that needs to get done, we get it done. And we get it done and we have fun at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But before we get out here, I want you to introduce us to what looks like a stuffed puppy down here. And this is actually not a stuffed puppy. This is a beautiful little puppy. Tell me about this puppy.
This is Boog, and he is my puppy dog. He is my fur child. And he has such a docile temperament. He is a Corgi and an Australian Shepherd mix.
Wow.
And if you have a ball in your hand, he will throw it, or you will throw it until your arm falls off, because he will go get it. He's so docile, and he just loves to come to work with me. He's never been through any kind of formal training, but you come in here and he's a therapy dog.
Sherry, I think y'all have done okay with this hire at Lindley. I think this young lady's going to do wonderful things, not only for Lindley, but certainly for the residents.
For the residents. And the residents, they absolutely love Jordan. They love everyone in our therapy department, and they love Boog. And he loves them too.
Oh yeah, he definitely loves it. He loves it here.
Well, Jordan, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us today. Sounded to me like the physical therapy department here that's where it's going on right here.
That's the happening place.
Lindley Health and Rehab. If you need our services, you can call, you can come by, you can come visit with us, and I promise you'll always see a happy smile here at Lindley. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Visiting with Mr. Ted Hall from White River Area Agency on Aging. As we get to on a month-to-month basis, we visit with somebody here, not always with Mr. Hall, but welcome back to the program, my friend.
Well, it's good to be back. I've missed a couple of months here, haven't I?
You've been busy.
I've been busy. Been down in Little Rock.
Yes, sir.
Making sure that we're making sure senior issues are being heard, and also made a little trip to Washington, D.C., where we visited both our senators and our representatives. They're very supportive of seniors, and we support that on all fronts there. And of course, we know there's going to be changes as we move forward with some health care issues, but we just don't know what it's going to be. Right. So how they affect us, we'll soon find out. But anyway, we want to make sure they know that we're there and we're for seniors, and we'll keep on the fight.
When you have a change in administration and you have changes in policies in Washington, D.C., I mean, from a political standpoint and a non-political standpoint, change comes, and sometimes things go away. And if you're not there advocating for our seniors, then sometimes those programs may go away. And that's the one thing we want our programs to improve.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, things that happen, it really helps you to bring your programs up front and forward, because we can show that we make a difference.
Absolutely.
And when you have 800 employees, and of the 800 employees, probably almost 675 are out in homes every day in our 10-county area, David.
Sure.
Now that's making a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely, it is.
So they don't want to mess with that, but we've got to tell the story. And you just got to make sure that you do tell a story, and that's one of my jobs that we do, so we like to do that. We're always full of knowledge here, David.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Well, the May, since 1963, when John F. Kennedy was president, he declared May as the Senior Citizens Month.
Right.
Then in 1980, President Jimmy Carter, he declared that, changed the name to Older Americans Month. So I guess it made it, anyway, that's what he did. I don't know why he did it. But
right, absolutely. Older Americans Month.
So that's what we're doing, and we have a lot of activities. We have a lot of our ads that we have on radio, and then we bring it to here on our cable station, that we emphasize this. And again, talking about seniors in the sense of, isn't it neat, David, to have seniors who, let's say, have been in the different wars. Not that the war is a good thing, but it is the fact. But they pass down the stories. They pass down history. And also through that, we learn a lot about how we ought to maybe live differently or how we ought to act differently. But anyway, it's very interesting to be able to talk to veterans and seniors and and how independent they are, in a sense that at times they don't even want help.
Right.
And
right.
But at some point in time, we all need help, David.
Absolutely.
And so it's really interesting as we work with seniors that we keep that in mind, that they're a very proud group, but yet at the same time, there is a time that you ask for help. So, but you know, we have a different group of seniors, and we keep kind of changing articles here about different things that I have read, but really, seniors overall today are trying to be more healthy, and they show that.
Right.
And of course, we need to be, but there is they are more being health conscious, and through our senior centers, we have health wellness programs.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't, and there's nothing wrong with playing dominoes and cards, but all of our senior centers, we offer a lot of programs dealing with diabetics and making sure that you watch yourself and not fall, because that's the number one problem with seniors is falling, and then they injure themselves and all those kind of things like that. So we do have a different group of seniors, but they've got a great history in the sense of telling us what has happened to them and what, in the past, whether it be the Depression or the wars or just things in general. But I know, David, in my own life, just look at the telephone. You know, we've gone to the cell phones. We used to have those rotary phones.
Absolutely.
We used to have the party line.
Party line.
My parents made sure I wasn't listening on what that.
Yes,
And old Ben's laughing. He don't even know what a party line is.
No, probably not.
Anyway,
And most young people would not know what a party line
and
is.
so even the phones with it, and the landlines are even seem to be less. So anyway, it's kind of neat to be a part of history. And it's certainly, as we have Older Americans Act and Older Americans seniors during this month, we want to recognize them and just say thanks to them for whatever they've done. They've made it this far, so that's an accomplishment right there. But anyway, what we always mention this is that if they have questions about seniors, they can call us here at our Bates's office, which we are the corporate office, and that'd be 870-612-3000. So we're here ready to help, and sometimes, David, our care manager will visit with families, and they're not ready for help at this time.
Right.
But if in case something should happen later on down the road, if they've made those initial contacts, then it kind of makes the process move forward. So anyway, it's great being here, always with you. Well, you have another question.
Well, I do. We talk about this a lot of times, and we always want to mention this. When you talk about the seniors themselves asking for, the older Americans, as we call them, asking for the help, they may not. But we certainly encourage their family to reach out to us.
Absolutely.
If they know that they need some help, and sometimes that might be easier for the person that needs the help if somebody in their family is saying, look, Mom, look, Dad, we probably need to get you a little help. Let's talk to White River Area Agency on Aging.
Absolutely.
So we encourage you to help them.
That's that's a great point. If somebody does call us, we send what we call our care managers out, and they're really trained to ask the right questions, and they can help kind of guide whether it be the parent or the children through this process, because a lot of times people don't even know about us. They don't understand us. Only thing they know that we have something to do with older Americans, and so that's a great thing. And we're one of the busiest times of year that we have is right after the holidays,
right?
Because the kids have been home and they notice something a little different about Mom and Dad, and so they call and ask us about things.
It struck me right now of thinking about White River Area Agency on Aging and the help we need is kind of like a worn out windshield wiper. When you don't really realize that you need the help until you need the windshield wiper when it's right needed.
Then you need some help.
So I mean, a lot of times we don't realize we need some help until something goes wrong, and then we say, hey, we need some help. You're the ones to call. Good to see you, Mr. Ted Hall.
Yeah, and if we have questions, we're here for whatever the questions. If we can't help you, we can direct them to some place where they can get some help. We promise that.
Mr. Ted Hall, who is the Executive Director of White River Area Agency on Aging, 10 counties, Independence and Jackson County are our specialties, and we appreciate you taking time to join us.
Pleased to be with you guys.
Let's continue on with more of our show. Farmers Tire Mart. We're on Malcolm Avenue in Newport. We get to visit with Mr. Tommy Bain most of the times, and sometimes Mr. Tommy's just so busy he can't visit with us, and that's the occasion today, and we filmed in early April for the April show. But just want to remind folks about this is the time that you need to get your car ready to go if you're thinking about or you know that you're going on vacation. That's right, we do a lot of service work on automobiles right here, and now is the time to get that car ready to come in and let them check all your belts, all your hoses, let them check the obviously the tires to make sure that the tires don't need to be replaced. But it is a good time to get that done while you're thinking ahead. Farmers Tire Mart is your automobile service dealer. Not only do they handle tires of all kinds, tires for your trucks, tires for your ATV. I don't know that they get a lot of bicycle requests for tires, but I bet you they could tell you where they could get one. But if you need a tire for your trailer, you need a tire for whatever the case may be, come visit with the guys at Farmers Tire Mart. Tommy and Linda Bain have been taking care of folks for many, many years. The name says Farmers Tire Mart, but we obviously deal with a lot more people than just the farmer. We're dealing with the everyday customer that needs tire service. Automobile service, you need your brakes worked on, front brakes, rear brakes. Give us an opportunity to do that. Give us an opportunity just to check your car over to see what maintenance it might need, because we talk about preventing problems down the road by taking care of your automobile right now. Farmers Tire Mart in Newport, Tommy and Linda Bain. If you need tires, if you need service on your automobile, we recommend them. Come see Tommy and Linda Bain at Farmers Tire Mart, where the rubber meets the road. Merchants and Planters Bank, Tara Salinas joins us with their report, and it's always a pleasure to get to see you. And May is one of those months that is just busy leading up to Port Fest. Lots of things going on, and they may have already happened, but we want to talk about a lot of things that happen.
May is just if you look at the calendar for May, it's packed, and it's a great month because it's nicer weather, hopefully, and and you've got your graduates. They're ending an era and embarking on a new journey through life, and you've got all kinds of great community events that are there to raise awareness for very important things. We've got the Relay for Life event that the event kind of culminates on a Friday night at the beginning of May, but we've been working on Relay for Life events all throughout the year, raising money. We, anything we can do to raise awareness for this great cause, we're there. Our insurance agency, I wish I could, if you go to our Facebook page and look at our Facebook page on the insurance agency.
And we encourage you to do so.
Please do. And like us and follow both of the insurance agency and the bank on Facebook. They're two separate pages. But the insurance agency has a relay tree. They put up their Christmas tree and put purple lights all around it and put relay flags in it. We had a lot of T-shirts from the previous year's relays. And so they were encouraging people to come in, make a donation to Relay for Life, and then they would give them a T-shirt from under the tree. Right. So just neat little things like that I love that, our people get so involved and so passionate about these community events and come up with great ideas like that. So,
Relay for Life in Newport and Merchants and Planters Bank and your association with that. I mean, first of all, it is a tremendous event. Not only for us, but for lots of folks. But it is especially big here in Jackson County. It's just huge. It's huge. We raise a lot of money.
Because, again, people feel passionate about it because it's dear to them, because cancer is it has such a huge impact, especially on this area. Yes. So everyone is affected by it, and everyone gets involved in it. And I want to say a special thank you to Stacy Wagner. She is and has been our chairperson on the Relay for Life committee for years and years, and she does such a great job, and she is so passionate about it, and she gets everyone excited, and she works really hard. Right, she does. So thank you, Stacy. We love you. But all of our group, like I said, I can't brag on them enough. They take the initiative themselves. They see the need in the community, and they get out there and they get busy and they work hard and they raise money and they raise awareness, and I'm proud of them. So thanks to everyone. Absolutely. But yeah, so we've got that. We've got Port Fest, as you mentioned, is coming up in June. We're real excited about the Newport Fest.
Yeah, it ought to be tremendous.
It's going to be so much fun, and I think we're just going to see not only our friends and neighbors from Jackson County, but I just feel like it's going to draw a huge crowd from all over the area. Something for Newport to be really proud of, I think, and welcome everyone in and show them what a great town we have. And
it's a whole different concept. I mean,
yeah.
We had a concept that it worked for many, many years and continued to work, but we needed something that was going to be a change, something that was going to be a push, something that would be exciting. And tell us a little bit about the singing part and what we're going to do if those people don't already know as far as the entertainment goes. This is so cool.
It is cool, and I'm sure everyone has read or heard that we're going from our traditional Port Fest to a new kind of venue, and it's all cover entertainment. Tribute bands.
Right.
And there really is something for everyone. Every music taste that's out there, you can find someone, you can find an act that's going to fit that. If your thing is athletics, they've got the Run Lizard Creek thing going. Just so many fun events. It's packed into 2 days, and I think it's going to be amazing, and I think everybody needs to rest up because it's going to be a lot, but it's going to be fun. And Merchants and Planters Bank is really proud to be a part of it. We have supported Port Fest, for years and years, and we're just excited to be a part of it again this year. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I encourage everyone to come out and enjoy all the music. So we'll be there too. We'll have our booth there. We'll have our people there. Come by, say hi. I'm sure we'll be giving some stuff away, so come see us at Port Fest. Put that on the calendar for sure.
Fun month and leading up to Port Fest, and just Port Fest is just one of those times of the year that, I've been going for a long, long time, back to the riverboat days, and it's amazing how it's evolved, and it's amazing that I think this will be the best Port Fest that we have ever had.
I agree.
I really do.
I think it's going to be so much fun.
I do too.
Like I said, and we've got, again, congratulations to all of our graduates that are out there. We're proud of you guys. We're going to be using our grill, our big, we call her M&P grill.
Right, yeah.
And we're going to be cooking for some of our students and some other community members as well. So your M&P bankers are going to be out there this month. Stop by, say hi, and hey, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. That's what we're here for. We want to hear from you and talk to you and make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to be the best community bank you've ever had.
Our hometown bank, Merchants and Planters Bank. Y'all know where we are in Newport, locations throughout northeast and north central Arkansas. She's Tara Salinas, and you do a great job out helping promote M&P Bank, Newport, Arkansas, and Jackson County. Thanks, Tara.
Thank you.
We're at Unity Health Harris Medical Center, and Nancy George joins us to talk about some stuff in Port Fest. Nancy is on the Port Fest committee, and Nancy, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to talk about what Unity Health sponsors, and we have a big event in Port Fest. First of all, tell us what this event is called.
It's called the Run Lizard Creek Mud Run.
And at mud run, as you just explained, doesn't necessarily have to be a mud run, but tell us just exactly what that is, if you don't mind.
What it's going to be is a mud obstacle course that's set up out at Port Fest through the pecan orchard and back through some of the fields, and it will come out in the cul-de-sac that's in the very back of Jacksonport State Park. It'll be about 3.25 miles, and it will be filled with walking or running and about 20 to 25 obstacles.
All right, now, I guess you have to make when you say a mud run, for those people who have not ever seen something like this on TV, which I have, and I've seen stuff on Facebook, what exactly, explain how it works.
Well, we have wave times, and so there will be a group of people that go off every 15 minutes or so, and you take off and you either walk or run, and there will be a course, a path that's mapped out with markers, and you'll just take that path from start to finish, and along the way there will be different types of obstacles that you'll encounter, and you'll have the option to either try to attempt to tackle that obstacle, or you will have a way to go around it if you feel like it's not for you.
Give me a couple of examples. You don't have to name them all, the obstacles that you're talking about, but some of these obstacles, thus the mud run comes into play here. Tell us about some of the obstacles.
Some of them will definitely be filled with mud. There will be water slide type obstacles. There will be walls that you can climb over. There will be bridges that you will walk over, ditches. It could be tire obstacles, hay obstacles. It can be any number of things.
So once you complete this thing and at the end, you're probably going to have a little mud on you if you participate through all of the obstacles.
That is correct. You might be a little bit dirty.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
All right, tell us when the event is going to be and how we get registered and to get more information. How do we do that?
Port Fest will be held this year, June 9th and 10th. Our event will be on Saturday. Registration will open at 8 o'clock and the course will open at 9. And we will take people in waves every 15 minutes until everyone that wants to go through the course has been through. You can get some more information. You can go to the Port Fest website. It's portfest.org. You can register for the race at raceroster.com. And there's also a website for Run Lizard Creek.
Wow. It ought to be. Of course, Port Fest is going to be exciting, but this is maybe the most exciting thing that we do. Now, I did mention to you about, or did mention to the folks about you being on the Port Fest committee. Talk a little bit about the work that committee does. I mean, we don't start March 1st and put something together and say, here we go. We've been working all year. Talk a little bit about your job within the committee and then the committee itself and then how hard it is to put something like this together.
Well, this past year, I think things went a little different. This is my first year on this committee, but with Riverfest changing to the traditional Port Fest weekend, the decision was made to take a step back and sort of look at Port Fest as a whole and consider the option of changing the weekend so that we weren't competing with them. And just to sort of see how Port Fest could be done in a new and fresh way and how things could be changed. And so this newer committee was put together to sort of explore those options and see what people might want, what traditional things we might want to bring back that have been gotten rid of in the past. And so this committee worked really hard to sort of make changes to Port Fest and bring new and fresh ideas and things that would be inviting for the entire community, families, anyone involved. And so that's sort of how it all got started. And then from those new ideas, we sort of each were given tasks. And for me, I've done mud runs, so it was a natural spot for me to go to.
Absolutely.
To start exploring this option and sort of put that together for the committee.
And going back once again to the mud run and you're talking about the obstacles, if you wish, you can maybe go around one of those obstacles.
Yes, there will be an option to go around.
And I had mentioned before we got on, I could do this obstacle course. I could do this thing on a four-wheeler. And you said that I could stop the four-wheeler and get off and do the obstacle, and I said, no, I'm going to go around the obstacle. That's the way I could handle it. Oh, it's going to be an exciting time at Port Fest, and I guess I should have asked you earlier, tell us a little bit about you and your family and your kids.
Okay. I am originally from Kennett, Missouri. My husband is Heath George, and he works here at the hospital as an anesthetist. He was born here, raised in Jonesboro, but we have lots of family in the community. We have 2 kids. We have a daughter that's 7 and a son that's 4.
Fantastic. I appreciate you, Nancy, taking time to visit on what we call the Nickel of Unity Health and Harris Medical Center to talk about Port Fest, because we are a big sponsor and we want to make sure that we get in there and sponsor something. We elected to do this year, and you're the chairman of that committee, and it should be an exciting Port Fest for sure.
I think so. I agree.
Run Lizard Creek Mud Run. Just sign up on those places she told you to do and come have fun at Port Fest 2017. Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May edition of the Farmer Supply Association Agriculture Report. Well, normally in May, we would like to go out to the field to tape our program, and usually from about March through September we do that, but boy, we've really got into a rainy period here. We're taping on May 3rd, and we've just are enduring a pretty substantial flood in our area right now. Some areas are worse than others, but Black River's reaching record highs at Pocahontas. Of course, we're downstream from that. Cache and White, not record levels, but well above, major flood stage. So Village Creek, all the major ditches and everything like that are flooding. Losing a lot of crop to that right now. We were off to a great start. Probably at 80 to 90% of our rice planted. Most of it was up to a good stand, good weed control started. Probably more soybeans planted this early than I can ever remember. And of course, soybeans just won't tolerate the rain very well at all. Rice, if things are right, it can stay underwater for sometimes up to about 14 days, if it's cool and the water's moving and things like that. But soybeans, especially if it's warm, just very little time underwater and they can be ruined very, very quickly. So we're kind of dealing with that right now. Hopefully things will straighten up real quick. Still early, so we don't want to have to replant after getting such a good start, but if we have to, we have to, and it can still have a chance, obviously, to make a good crop. Just want to go through the major crops and talk about where we're at with them right now, some things our farmers need to be thinking about. Again, rice, we were pretty much planted, or a large part of the crop was planted before the rains hit in around the 29th or 27th, actually, I think is when it really hit around here. The heavy rain started and went on through about the 29th or 30th. So we were in really good shape till then. Now getting a lot of rice underwater. We're just going to have to wait and see what it looks like when the water comes off. Again, it could stay there for a while, so we'll just see where we're at. As far as a lot of levees are washed out as well, so when farmers have to wait till not only the water gets off, but until it dries up to try to rebuild those levees, and that can be a difficult process as well because a lot of that dirt is washed away and there's not a lot of dirt there to build a levee. So a lot of issues there. As far as late planting of rice, we can make a good rice crop all the way up into early June if we have to plant then. If you do have to plant rice up into June, you need to plant a hybrid. The yield potential of the hybrid is much better than the conventional varieties, so if you can get some hybrid seed, that'll be the way to go on that. It'd be, obviously tough decisions sometimes on whether to replant or not. Of course, crop insurance plays a factor into that, and a lot of other factors, figure into that decision. But if you do have to replant or even plant, the crop that hadn't been planted yet, look at a hybrid variety. As far as weed control, these rains have really kept a lot of the herbicides, the residual herbicides activated, so that's going to be real important, is keep these residuals active. We're not going to be able to flood fields early because these levees are washed out, so we need to keep residual herbicides active. We need to make post-emergence herbicide applications real timely and the correct herbicides with our rice crop to make sure we get good weed control, because we're not going to be able to use that flood for weed control until a little bit later because of the washed out levees. As far as pre-flood nitrogen, it's going to be a very important thing. And again, we want to apply our nitrogen and then flood up as quickly as possible. So again, a factor here is going to be repairing those levees. So we want to get those levees repaired as quickly as possible because that will aid in both weed control and pre-flood nitrogen. So, still got some time, but certainly our rice crop has been delta below, and we're going to have to deal with that, and hopefully things will come out all right. Soybeans, as I said earlier, we had probably more early planting of soybeans this year than ever before. So, a lot of those are going to be destroyed by the excessive rainfall and flooding. So we'll have to do a lot of replanting, and still certainly, obviously, a lot of time to replant. We've talked before about our best soybean yields, and we've really learned this more and more every year. Our best soybean yields and best yield potential is from those early plantings. Well, all those early plantings are going to be destroyed probably, and have to make those, May and probably into June plantings as well. So, still time to make a good soybean crop. We up till about mid-June, you could still make some excellent soybean yields, maybe even a little bit later than that if things go well. So, still time to get those soybeans planted, obviously. But a lot of people were really disappointed because they're going to lose some of that April yield potential that they had. So again, just have to deal with that as the conditions allow. Weed control is going to be a very big issue, just like with any other crop as we replant these soybeans. And again, just like I mentioned in rice a while ago, a lot of the same principles apply. You have to start clean, especially if you've got pigweeds. And I get into these fields every year where farmers don't kill out the pigweeds that are out there when they plant. And it's going to be very difficult to control those if you don't control them then. So do everything you can. Usually an application of something like gramoxone or paraquat plus metribuzin is probably the best thing for these pigweeds that are out there. So get rid of those things. Try to get rid rid of them with herbicides, if you can, if you're in that stale bed situation. If you're replanting or tilling, then obviously you can till those weeds up. Most of our farmers are already bedded their fields and are looking to plant in those stale beds if they're still in good shape. So, use again a paraquat plus metribuzin type of mix to control those pigweeds that are out there. Because if you don't, you're going to deal with them all year, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. Again, after that, just like with rice, overlap residual herbicides. We've got a lot of things out there. Metribuzin is being used more and more on our soybeans, so that can be in the mix and really help out a lot. So something like a boundary, which is a dual plus metribuzin, followed by a zidua, early post-emergence or something like that, or some good residual programs to use. Also, Valor Pre can be a very good residual herbicide. So kind of mix and match, these herbicide combinations and don't do the same thing every year. As one guy used to always say, if last year's weed control program worked good, then change it. So we want to mix and match these herbicide programs to avoid resistance buildup. So again, overlap residuals. Don't just rely on that first residual that you put, pre-emergence. Try to overlap one early post-emergence, and again, that's probably going to be something like a prefix or a dual or a zidua or some of the choices out there for that post-emerge residual application. And then finally, timely post-emerge applications. You got to get small weeds. With these pigweeds, we talk always about getting them before they're 4 inches tall, preferably even before that, because once they get past 4 inches tall, they're a whole new animal. So get these applications out there, whether it's going to be Liberty or Ingenia with the new dicamba soybeans, or whether you're planting conventional beans or Roundup beans and need to use something like FlexStar. Get these herbicide applications out there very early. You're not going to go wrong by going too early. You will go wrong by going too late. So let's try to keep these fields clean, because that's such an important part of production. Finally, with corn, we're in the wet period. We got our corn crop in and emerged and looking pretty good before these floods got here. So if your corn does survive, we're going to be having questions about pre nitrogen applications, those early nitrogen applications that get out there. So try to side dress these nitrogen applications by the 6th leaf stage of development. So you may have some time. Don't rush things. If you can wait and apply it in dry conditions and then water it in, that's going to be better. So again, don't get in too much of a panic until you get close to that 6th leaf stage of corn development. That's when you need to absolutely have the large chunk of that side dress nitrogen out there. So again, flooding the big story in early May as we tape, and hopefully things will be a lot better by the time we tape that June program. For more information, you can contact me through Farmers Supply Association, and this has been Randy Klepechka with your Farmers Supply Association Agriculture Report.
Welcome to the Sports Report, brought to you by the Bank of England, the mortgage company. The Bank of England Mortgage Company, located in the Village Mall, and Kenny Thaxton at 870-495-3941. If you're looking for a mortgage of any kind, if you're looking for a home mortgage, the Bank of England Mortgage Company in the Newport Village Mall is the place to go. Visit with Kenny Thaxton about new mortgages, if you're looking for your first home mortgage, if you're looking to refinance your current mortgage and lower your interest rate, which could possibly lower your payment and possibly save you hundreds of dollars per month, talk to Kenny Thaxton at the Bank of England Mortgage Company in the Village Mall. They are an equal housing lender and a member FDIC. A little different report on the Sports Report this time. I happened to be looking through Facebook last night, and Grant Black happened to have tagged me in a video. And the video is by Steve Springer, and it's from Quality at Bats, and it talks about self-esteem destroying games, and it's talking about baseball. It's talking about how coaches maybe overreact, yelling at 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, and making these guys or girls lose their self-esteem about the game itself. And I have seen it all my life. I have seen coaches get overzealous from time to time. I've been in those shoes myself. But what makes this video so important to me is that Grant Black posted it, and here's what Grant Black posted on there. He said, "Thanks, David Black, for understanding this and making it as fun as it was for all those years." I coached Grant from the time he was 5 years old until he was 18 years years old until he went to college all the way through Legion Ball. And I had a great group of kids, and if there's one thing that I always wanted to do and hope that I did, is I hope those kids remembered how important it was that I was positive to them about the game of baseball. So don't let it be a self-esteem destroying game. Let it be a positive game, and only you as coaches and parents can make it that way. Hope you enjoy the video. It's next.
I got a question that I get asked all the time. What is the biggest mistake parents make? Well, I know parents, you would die for your kids. I know that you love them more than anything, but too many kids are quitting this game at 13 years old because of the pressure that's put on them by the one who loves them the most, us parents. We have to back off. Right? I know you would die for your kids, parents, right? Your kid is playing the biggest self-esteem destroying sport in the world, right? I played tennis and mixed doubles, club champ, by the way, and I'm playing with my mixed doubles partner, and I haven't met her boyfriend. And I finally meet him, and he says, first word out of his mouth, I'm coaching my 7-year-old travel ball team. I said, nice. I said, so you know you're coaching the biggest self-esteem destroying sport in the world, right, bud? He's like, what? I go, yeah, your 7-year-old makes an error, he wants to cry, the other team's cheering, he doesn't like that. Coach is yelling, that's you, and then he's got to ride home with you. I said, he's not your little Mike Trout yet, he wants an ice cream, he's 7, right? We get interrupted. I don't see the guy for 2 months. I'm downtown Huntington Beach watching my boy Mark Trumbo, who's like my son playing for the Angels, and having a little glass of wine, and I see him, and he walks right up to me and he said, you changed my life. I said, what are you talking about? I said, when you told me my son's playing the biggest self-esteem destroying sport in the world, he said, you hit me right between the teeth. He says, I was so embarrassed, I couldn't even talk. Thank God we got interrupted. 2 months later now, I'm the most positive coach on the field. When I hear another coach or a parent yell at a 7-year-old, I cringe. Me and my son go get an ice cream after the game. You were right. Having the best relationship with him ever. And my ex-wife, she wants to remarry me because she can't believe it's me. Sorry about that one, buddy. No, hopefully they got back together. But parents, that's who we are, man. We love them so much, right? This game is going to beat them up enough. I don't need my coach, my parent, or my teammate to do it. It will do it by itself. Build your kids up. I want them playing when they get their man body, with your young man body, because the kids are quitting with their little kid body because they're playing with tension, anxiety, and pressure instead of calmness, toughness, and focus, creating a little bit of fun.